Hey kiddos, so last time we had started a new book and we had finished in the narrator. It was like the end of chapter 2. So now we're going to start at a new spot. Pretty excited. Not this page, the next page. Isn't flipping pages fun? It feels like you're reading this book really fast. Evan, and looks like there's a picture, and it looks like it's on a refrigerator. Continued at the top, it says. Evan was all alone in a strange place with no idea how to get back home. He was stuck in a strange new world that was weird yet somehow familiar. Fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how much you like the story so far, a narrow dirt path curved, winded, zigzagged, and wiggled its way off into the distance, allowing the story to move right along. The path seemed to lead straight into the mountains in the background, which, by the way, were round on top instead of pointy like normal mountains. "What's the deal with this place?" Evan asked. As he began to walk down the dirt path, everything here looked strange and weird and anti-normal. This strange new anti-normal world was certainly beautiful, even though it wasn't fully explained to anyone just how strangely beautiful it was. But everything was wrong, or at least different. Nothing looked like it did back home. For starters, all the trees were oddly shaped. The flowers were all sorts of weird colors, and the grass was bright pink. Who ever heard of pink grass anyway? Evan said, shaking his head. Wait a sec. Evan took a good look around, thinking that this strange new world looked exactly like the painting he'd made in Miss Holly's Little Tykes preschool back when he was 4 years old. It was the first drawing he'd ever made at school. Mom was so proud that she stuck it on the refrigerator with a smiley face magnet. Evan thought the painting was terrible. Later on, he offered to paint his mother a better one, but she refused. In his painting, the hills in the background were all perfectly round with heaps of snow on the top. There were odd-shaped trees all over the place. The flowers were all weird colors, and the grass was, you guessed it, bright pink. And of course, just like in his childish painting, there was a dirt road that curved, winded, zigzagged, and wiggled off into the distance. This can't be my painting, Evan asked himself, since there was nobody else around to ask. Can it? There was nothing else to do but keep on walking, so off he went. Hours later, Evan threw his arms up into the air and shouted, "What is wrong with this place? It just keeps going, 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 going." The sound of his voice echoed, but not in the normal way it did back home. The echo started out small, but then got louder and louder as it came right back again. "Ridiculous," Evan grumbled, putting his hands on his hips. "Even the echo doesn't work right." He looked back the way he came and saw that the troll's house, Mr. Jenkinson's place, was now gone, missing, vanished, disappeared, ancient history. And when he turned back around, again, there was a tall wooden signpost that wasn't there before. Where did that come from? Evan stood there scratching his head. The sign, which was about twice as tall as he was, had only one carved wooden arrow on it, and it pointed toward the mountains. The castle. This way. "Wait a sec," Evan said. In all the boring old stories I've ever read, the castle doesn't come in until the very end?" But this was no boring old story that Evan had ever read before. This was a story about "Not you again!" Evan shouted at the strange voice that came out of nowhere for the third time in the same chapter. "Look, whoever you are, can you just hurry up with this weird story so I can go home?" "Huh? How did," the storyteller guy said, not sure why the hero of his story was talking to him as if he was a real little boy. I am a real little boy, Evan shouted at the not-so-bright storyteller guide. Just hurry up and invent someone for me to talk to, will ya? Besides, you weirdo. Okay, fine, said the storyteller guy, slightly offended by the hero's harsh tone. How about a talking tricycle? A talking tricycle? Are you kidding me? Evan rolled his eyes, sighed heavily, threw his hands into the air in a disgusted manner, and did all sorts of other cynical type stuff. Okay, fine, whatever. Just start a new chapter so we can get on with it, okay? Okie dokie. And that, my kiddos, is the end of that chapter. And you saw my Bella, not my Bella, you saw my tank in the background.